In this video, I will be using group policy to deploy Ryver. I'm starting this video from my GitHub page, and that's because there are a few bits of information here that I will be using for this video. And I will leave the URL in the description down below. And the group policy that I will be creating will be performing two actions. One of them is placing executable installation files on the local machine in C program data deployment folder. And also it will create a RunOnce registry entry for the user. And we are using RunOnce because Ryver is a type of software that needs to be installed under the user account, and the installation needs to be executed by the user. Also, I will be setting up item level targeting for each setting because I don't want to deploy these settings to users that already have Ryver installed. Also, in the bottom of the page you can find more of my videos that are related to this topic. For example, here you can find videos about my Windows Server setup if you're interested in that. And there is a video about creating Ryver MSI file if you want to deploy it as an MSI file. And also there is a video about RunOnce if you want more details on how it works. And now I will begin this video by downloading Ryver executable installation files, and for that I will use the link that I have here that brings me to the Ryver download page. Then I will click download for the Windows version. After that I will go to my downloads folder, and here I have my executable. And I will right click on the executable, select copy, and then I will go to VMware Workstation where I have my Windows Server environment. For now I will minimize the server manager and I will move the executable to my desktop, and from my desktop I will move it to a network share that is accessible to my domain users and computers. And for that I will open File Explorer, and here I will enter my file server name, it's srv02. Then I will go into this software share, and here I will create a folder named Ryver. I will go inside of this folder and then I will move the executable to this folder. And here you need to make sure that you have the correct NTFS and share permissions. For example, in my case, if I go to Properties Security tab and then Edit, you can see that I have authenticated users with read permissions for my NTFS permissions, and I also have the same permissions for my share permissions. And authenticated users covers both users and computers, and with read permissions that means that both of my users and computers that are in my domain are able to execute files from this share and also access this share. Anyways, make sure that you have the correct permissions, and for now I will close the windows here and go to my server manager, because now we can start creating our group policy. And for that I will go to Tools, Group Policy Management. I will right click on Group Policy Objects and select New. I will name the policy Deploy Ryver and click OK. I will expand Group Policy Objects, select the policy that I created. I will right click it and select Edit. Here we need to go to Preferences, Windows Settings, and first I will be configuring the file deployment. So for that we need to go to Files. I will right click here, go to New and select File. Here we need to provide the source file and the destination file. The source file is where we currently have our executable. It's in my network share in my case, and destination file is where we want to deploy it on the client machine. And I have all the values that I will be using in this video in my GitHub page. So I will go there, and as you can see here, I have everything that I will be using. And here we have the source file. So as you can see, there's the srv02, the my file server, software share, Ryver folder, and then the Ryver executable name. So I will copy the value from here, go back to my VMware Workstation and paste in the value here. And I will do the same with the destination. I will just copy it and paste it in here. And for the action, I will leave it at update. Now we need to configure item level targeting, and for that I will go to Common, Item level targeting and targeting. And here I will be targeting a Ryver registry key, and if that key doesn't exist, we'll be deploying the file to the computer, and if that registry key exists, then we'll not be deploying the file. It's because I don't want to deploy the files on the computers that already have Ryver installed. And for that we need to go to New, Registry Match. For the match type I will leave it at key exist, and for the Hive I will leave it at current user. And we only need to provide the key path, and for that I will go to the GitHub page and copy the key path from here. and I will paste it here. And as you can see here, it says registry key exists, but in our case, we need to check if the key does not exist. So to change the exist to does not exist, we need to go to item options and set it to is not. And now it says does not exist. So if the key does not exist, it will deploy the file for us. And that's all that we need to do in this case. So here I will click OK, apply and OK. And now let's deploy the registry settings. And for that I will go to registry, right click here, go to new and select registry item. For the action I will leave it at update, hide current user. And now we need to provide key path. And we are looking for RunOnce registry path. So I will copy it from here and paste in the value here. Then for the value name, it doesn't matter, but I will copy it from the GitHub page anyways. And now we need to provide value data. And I also have that in the GitHub page. And if you don't know how RunOnce works, basically whatever we have for our value will be executed for the user during the logon process. So in this case, it will execute the Ryver executable with a silent switch, and that will start a silent installation for that user. And that's basically it. Now we need to configure item level targeting. So let's go to common, item level targeting and targeting. Once again, new item, registry match. We'll leave everything on default on the left side and only need to provide key path here. So back to the GitHub page, copy this line and pasted it here. And we need to change from exists to does not exist, and for that item options is not. Now it says does not exist. I will click OK, apply and OK. And we are done creating our group policy. I will close this window. Now I will select the policy, go to details, and here for GPO status, from enable I will switch to computer configuration settings disabled, because currently this policy only has user settings in it. And I will leave all other settings on default. Now after creating our group policy, we need to assign it to an organization unit that is holding users on which we want to deploy the Ryver software. And I will do it on my organization unit domain users that I have here. It currently doesn't have any group policies. So to assign the policy, I will select and hold on the policy and then drag and drop it on the organization unit. And as you can see, the group policy appeared here and also here. Now to test this group policy, I will go to one of my client machines that I have here, client 01. And first thing that I will do here is open C program data folder. So C program data. And as you can see, currently we don't have the deployment folder. And also I will open the registry editor, and for that I will go to start menu, and here I will type reg edit. And I will open it without administrative privileges. Then I will go to current user, software Microsoft, and Windows, then current version, and somewhere here we have RunOnce, and currently we have no values here. So now let's update group policy, and for that I will open a CMD window without administrative privileges, and I'll type gp update. As you can see in the file explorer, the deployment folder appeared, and also we have our executable here, and in the registry, if I refresh, we have the registry entry install Ryver with this value right here. And like I said, this value right here will be executed for this user during the logon process. Also, you should know that until the Ryver software is installed, every time I delete the registry entry and also the file and update group policy once again. So every time I update group policy, you can see that the file is redeployed, and also the registry key for this user is also redeployed. And this will happen until we have Ryver installed for this user. So now let's close all the windows here. Sign out from the user. Sign back in. I will open Task Manager to try to see if the installation started. And it seems I cannot find it right now. Oh, here it is. So the installation has started. We need to wait a minute or two for it to finish. And as you can see, the installation is done, and now we have Ryver shortcut on our desktop. I can try to open it. And it seems to be working just fine because it gives us the sign-in screen. And let's go back to the deployment folder in our C program data folder. And this time I will delete it. And also I will open the registry once again. As you can see, currently we don't have any values. And if I try to update group policy now, you can see the policy is re-updating, but the executable for the Ryver is not redeploying, and also the registry key is not reappearing for this user. And that's because now that we have Ryver installed, item level targeting is preventing from deploying these settings to this computer. And that's basically it for deploying Ryver using group policy, but this deployment option only works with software that doesn't need administrative privileges to install. Also, the other one advantage that we have when deploying software this way is that after group policy update, we have all the settings and all the files that we need for the installation on our local machine. And this means that we don't need to have access to internet or our local network on the machine when doing the installation. For example, here I have this another client called client02. And here, first I will update the group policy by performing GP update. And now that I have my group policy updated on this machine, I will modify its settings by removing its network connection. As you can see, currently we don't have no internet access or local area access. This means that this computer doesn't have ability to reach my domain controller or the file server. So let's sign out and sign back in. And now, even though we don't have internet or local access to our network resources, the installation should still start for this machine. Yeah, I saw it somewhere here. Here it is. The installation has started, so let's wait and see what happens. And as you can see, even though we don't have access to our file server or the domain controller, the Ryver application was still successfully installed. If I double click on it, it still gives us the sign-in screen, so everything seems to be working just fine even without the internet connection. And that's it for this video. In the future videos I will show you how to deploy Ryver using other software deployment tools, so like and subscribe if you want to see that, and see you in the next one.